Hey guys, it's Danny. So I was recording some videos for the Orchid channel, and since we're here all made up and looking nice and not disheveled, I decided it's a good idea to make some videos for the gardening channel as well. And we're gonna talk about, or not orchids, roses today. I have some notes here. I wanna talk about my first impressions about the roses of David Austin, Kordes and Tantau, which are, let's say, the three main rose houses. Sounds cute. I think you call them rose nurseries or hybridizers. But rose houses sounds like perfume houses, right? It just sounds cute. Anyway, so these are the three main types of orchids that I have in my garden. I do believe they're some of the more popular roses. I have some other roses from Mayan, Weeks. There are others as well, but certainly I don't have so many of them. So I will focus today on the three main players, let's say, in the rose market and how I feel about them. I love all three of them, by the way. This is not a video about this versus that. What? No, we're not pitting anybody against each other. We love all of these roses, and if it were up to me, I will want all the roses on earth. Alas, I have no space for it. But anyway, so this is just us talking about, you know, how these roses appear to us, because I'm very, very excited about the roses that I have and the fact that they're doing so well, and the fact that I've never grown or seen with my own eyes these roses ever before. It's just fun to talk about them, right? So I'm gonna talk about what all of these roses, I wrote down some notes, so I'm looking. I'm gonna talk a little bit about what these roses, as a first impression, inspire me, and a little bit of how they're doing in my garden as well. So first, let's start with David Austin, of course, which I do believe are the most popular types of roses, the English roses at least. David Austin roses have been a dream of mine for a long time. It's really hard to find them in flower shops here in Cyprus. From time to time, you find one or two. I found Golden Celebration here on a whim, but you don't usually see them in flower shops, so I ordered them, most of them. And what I can tell you is that they are just as lovely as I expected them to be. But if I were to summarize in one word how these roses appear to me or what they inspire me, is cottage, which is one of the inspirations for my garden. I love the cottage style garden, if you will. Like my grandma, I think she had a cottage style garden because there was no like very formal arrangements or anything. She really liked beautiful flowers, tiny, big, it didn't matter. Just flowers that looked maybe a little bit wild, maybe also a little bit whimsical, but not something that would inspire haute couture necessarily. You know, she had her roses as well that maybe were a little bit more elevated, but she also had lots of spring flowers as well, which were pretty informal. So I grew up with that type of more informal garden, more cottagey, more countryside type of garden that I'm in love with. A little side note, I do not like the city. I had the bad luck to actually move from my grandma's place to a communist block growing up, because that's what I had to do. And I felt like I was in a gray prison, and I had depression at the ripe age of 12. So I hated with my fiber everything that has to do with urban. It's not me, it's not for me. I don't have the best experience with cities. It's where I grew up, it is what it is. I'm sure that if you're an urban type of person, you know, maybe you think about being chic, being, you know, having a busy schedule, being important in an urban setting. That is not my history with urban things. I want my cottage garden in the countryside is what I want. And getting back to roses, that's what David Austin inspires me. Sure, you can say David Austin roses are very elegant, and some of them are, depending how you look at them. It's a very elegant cottage, let's say, feel. But just the shape of them, the fact that some of them are a little droopy, which I find so whimsical, so nice. The fact that they're a little loose, you know, they're not that hybrid tea style that to me maybe evokes a little bit more strictness, more urban, maybe. The fact that they're just like a peony, which my grandma had. Absolutely phenomenal. I love David Austin roses so, so much. I would not have the garden that I have without them, and they would not have the same vibe without them. I think that from all their range, I do prefer the ones that look more like a peony. They're more loosely shaped. They have that beautiful cup shape, but they're more loosely formed. I do love some that are not so loosely formed, like Gabriel Oak. That is a beautiful rose and it smells so wonderful. But it looks a little bit more like other types of roses. I think the highlight for me from David Austin are stuff like the Lady of Shalott, Golden Celebration, which I am in love with, Roald Dahl, all of these, peony-shaped, loosely shaped roses. I think these are the ones that play to my strings more. I love these and I think it's just wonderful. You should always try a David Austin rose just to see if you like it, because I think they're famous for a reason, and the reason is just this familiarity and just comfort. You don't have to be uptight around some David Austin roses. No, it's just comfort and warmth, and that's what I like about them. Now, as performance goes, I was very concerned about them because I live in a very, very hot area. I live in Cyprus, and imagine this, in the summertime I'm surrounded by desert. And then here I am, my garden full of green stuff, like not struggling, but like working to keep it green in the summertime. But I will have to say, they're tough cookies. Sure, their flowers will probably get burned in the sun. It is what it is. I was never expecting them to look formidable in the summertime. I am realistic, but they are, like, vegetatively, they are performing so well in the heat. Now in my area I don't have issues with black spot or things of the sorts. It's very dry, very hot, very windy, so I cannot tell you about those things, but I can tell you that heat resistance is beyond my expectations. Beyond my expectations. They do so well and I'm so happy they do. They don't look the best, but that's okay. I have 9 months out of the year to enjoy them, to be fully honest. These 3 months of summer, they're just not their time. So David Austin for me is cottage, familiarity. It's where I want to be. And I think they are all absolutely breathtaking. Now, in the future, I do have a few on my wish list that I want to acquire. There is one summer song that I absolutely must have, even though I hear it's a little picky. Maybe in my climate it will be good. I will say though, there are many roses that kind of look very, very similar, and I have a limited space, so I will choose very wisely. When, for example, I have Eustacia Vi. To me, it looks very, very similar to Emily Bronte, which they're both very, very popular roses, but because they look so similar, I will choose to go only, sorry for that, I will only choose to go with one of them. Not both of them. So there are many that they're not identical, but kind of look very similar. I also, Jude the Obscure with Dana Hugh, with Roald Dahl, they kind of look very, very, very similar to me. So because I have a limited space, I'm trying to just find different enough roses in the future so that, I leave space for other roses. When I'm gonna have more space, I'm probably gonna get those too. But for now, that's, the plans with the David Austin roses. Next up, Kordes. Kordes are a very popular rose house. They're coming from Germany, Tantau as well. But if I were to summarize Kordes Roses in one sentence, is whimsical. It's so whimsical. Another thing that I really, really like to do in my garden is create the sensation of a fairy tale forest of sorts. And what's funny is that Kordes actually has a fairy tale collection with roses that just look whimsical. I will go ahead and I will go one step further and say, even if the roses they have are not in the fairy tale collection, they still look whimsical and fairy tale-y to me. They might be in the Perfuma collection. They're all still very fairy tale-y. And yes, they're not all identical, but they have this fairy tale-y vibe to them that I absolutely adore. I love everything with whimsical, and together with the David Austin roses, these guys just go so well. Again, I don't feel like they're very, very formal, although I do like some formal roses. I'll get to that. But they have, again, more of that maybe loosely cupped shape that to me evokes whimsicalness, not so much cottagey, where I guess a little bit one step into the elegant side. Even their elegant collection, they're still, even though elegant, very, very whimsical. Stuff like Courage or Spicy Perfuma. Amazing roses. They look just so incredibly whimsical. I have quite a few hybrid teas as well from them that usually I'm not a fan of, but I really love the Kordes hybrid teas. Fragrance wise, I will have to say in the first year the Perfumac collection didn't really put out too much perfume for me. I also purchased them a little later because I prioritized the David Austins, so they need some time to adjust. Fragrance wise, for me the first year, a little bit here and there. There are a few highlights like Spicy Perfuma, very fragrant rose from the get-go, from the first year, in intense heat, in intense light, sunlight. Beautiful rose. Again, they're absolutely incredibly vigorous, and I cannot tell you much about Black Spot, but they have those very shiny leaves, which to me says thick cuticle. And when you have a rose or any plant with a thick cuticle, you don't have issues with fungal infections and so on, unless, you know, you have a breaking of the cuticle. I'm not going to go into the details, botanical stuff. But in a word, for me, Kordes Roses are just whimsical, and I have, again, a few other on my wish list. Not too many, because I actually did go ahead and purchase quite a lot of Kordes Roses. I also ordered from Kordes themselves. Beautiful roses. I feel like the fragrance is a little bit second when it comes to these roses. I feel like the looks overtake a little bit the fragrance with these roses. But as I was saying, I cannot imagine my garden without them because they're just so incredibly whimsical, and you should definitely, like if you're into whimsical stuff, definitely look at their fairy tale collection, even the elegant collection, even look at all of their collection. Everything is just fairy tale-y, out of a dream. And from what I hear, especially for hot climates, they're also very, very appropriate. I will tell you, none of my Kordes roses except no, it's not a Kordes rose. None of them are suffering in the heat. Yes, the blooms might not look as good. Overall, though, they do look a little better than the David Austins in the heat, and the bush itself just grows without an issue in the heat. I have no issue with Kordes roses. They're very strong roses and just absolutely phenomenal roses. I really love them. And the third rose house is Tantau. Now, Tantau, I feel like it's not as popular as Kordes and definitely not as David Austin, but everything that I have from Tantau blew my socks. If there is a word, and I thought about this a lot, should I say it? I will say it. If there is a word to describe, to me, Tantau roses in general is excellence. Is that French? Excellence. Okay, let's go with excellence, because it sounds pretty. These are perfect roses. Okay, I need to find some words. So, I don't have as many, but Tantau roses are the roses that make most of my wish list right now, because the few that I have just blew me away. Absolutely blew me. I was not expecting this. So the good thing is that in my country I do find a few Tantau roses. There is a nursery in Greece that actually partnered with Tantau, and they do grow some varieties. Not too many though. So I found a few locally. Chippendale I found locally as well. Black Caviar. I have a few others I found locally, and I am in love. Now, when Tantau says a rose is 2 stars fragrant, you feel some fragrance. There's definitely a fragrance there. I have Nostalgie as well. I think that one is 2 or 3 stars. I wasn't expecting much. I detect that tea fragrance like, wow, it's like I wasn't expecting to be so powerful. It's just 2 stars. No, it's there. The fragrance is there, at least in my area, in the hot climate. Now, what about 5-star fragrance? I have Black Caviar. I cannot tell you. I cannot tell you how that rose smells. It again blew my socks. We have a saying in Romanian, it like literally moved my nose. That is how strongly perfumed that rose is. I also have Tropicana. I think Tropicana is 4 or 5 stars. I cannot tell you how strongly fragrant that rose is. All of the roses that I have from Tantau are exquisite, absolutely exquisite form. They're not like the most cottagey and whimsical, but they have a very beautiful, elegant shape that I adore. Again, I don't find them to be too formal because they have those nostalgic shapes to them, which again remind me of my grandma's garden because she had some nostalgic roses as well. But they just look like they have been bred for perfection. From the form of them, to the colors of them, to the fragrance of them, they are exquisite. Now, for example, I was on the lookout for Double Delight. It's a little wishy-washy for me. I had to give that rose away. I found a replacement, Nostalgie from Tantau. That rose starts out white, no matter the sunlight, no matter the temperature, no matter anything. It starts out white and it's creamy white. And then it changes color into red. And when I say red, I mean crimson red, not wishy-washy, all of the petals. They maintain that very delimited color transformation until the end, when everything, all the rose is a crimson red like you've never seen. Perfection. And that is a red that is a rose that is not known for fragrance. It has a moderate fragrance of tea. It's the most beautiful tea fragrance. I don't know. I don't know. It smells so good to me, even though it's not very strong. It's everywhere, that fragrance. Even though it's not strong, it's weird. Again, Tropicana, I saw it on a different video, and maybe Rose Garden Gems. I think she was saying that it's like it's very fruity and it's like a fruit salad. It is like a fruit salad. The first time that rose bloomed, I smelled it. I'm like, need to go get some fruit. I went to the shop and I got fruit. That's how strong and beautiful the fragrance was. Black Caviar smells like the richest honey. I'm going on and on about Tantau because I'm just surprised. Because I feel like they're not on the radar too much. Yeah, as I was saying, my vast wish list is made of Tantau roses. I love them. They go together with the other roses in my garden so well. I absolutely adore them. In hot climates, they do fairly well. The flowers are definitely not as nice as in the cooler weather, but they're okay. I feel like Kordes does the best in the heat for me, then Tantau and then David Austin, but they're not horrible. None of them are horrible. I think they're all doing very well and I just want more of them. Right, so these are my impressions of the three houses. I have a few roses, maybe from Meillan, maybe from Guillot. I only have one from Guillot, so I cannot make like a true impression yet. Maybe I cannot make a true impression from the other roses either, but I wanted to talk about my first impressions because I'm just so excited to have all of these roses, and I just wanted to tell you what they inspire me, and I'm really looking forward to hear what you think about these roses, what they inspire you, what do you like about them. Yeah, leave me your thoughts down below in the down below in the comment section. I hope you've enjoyed hanging out with me today. I'll try to put some roses on the side so, you know, I show you something nice, not just me talking. But yeah, it's wonderful. I love roses just as much as I love orchids, and I'm so happy to have them survive. not only survive, but actually flourish, even in the summertime. So with that said, thank you so much for watching this and hanging out with me today, and I'll see you next time. Bye!